So as far as post-processing enhancements, we have segmented that into changes to the legacy posts and then the programmable posts. So we've added macros for first last motions. We've also added new post variables based on your input or user input. And then in the programmable posts, we have access to the machining parameters now. So we can actually inquire parameters of the machine tool, like intolerance and out tolerance and stock left and things of that sort from inside the post, which can be very useful. And then we also introduced some very new machine definition variables that the post can use. And finally, the ability to write to another file from the post directly. So you're not necessarily restricted to write, posting to the selected post file or post output file. You could actually write to an external file if you wanted. That's some users have requested us to be able to do that. So that was a change there. So go ahead, Don. Yeah, we can come back to this after get more into more details later on. So yeah, as far as licensing enhancements, we've added diagnostics of we ran into some issues for the network lock licensing on the field with lack of diagnostics, and so we've added that, enhanced that quite a bit. We're going to be releasing a new version of the License Service Manager application, and then also due to security concerns with the CentOS operating system, we have discontinued the LAN daemon network licensing system completely, and we are relying on the network lock licensing scheme now in 2023. So there's basically, node locked and cloud licensing for commercial users. And if you have multiple seats, like in schools or even in commercial users who have a large number of seats, we offer them the network lock licensing scheme, which is much easier to implement and administer from an IT perspective. Okay, go ahead, Don. Yeah, again, we can come back to this a little bit later.
Okay, so let's go into the product demonstration. I'm going to bring up
yeah, so this was the post-processing. Go to the next slide, please. Yeah.
That
so
one?
The next one.
Okay.
So on the left side is the toolpath or the post-processor editor. We've added a new tab for the motion cut, motion start and end. And you can define macros here to be inserted when you start out the cut, and also when you leave the cut, if you want any specific output, any specific code that you want output, you can add it in here. And then you can even you can select whether you want it to be before the plunge motion or after the retract motion. This can come in handy when you have flame cutting and plasma cutting, things of that nature. You can turn the torch on, torch off, depending on where you are in the cut sequence. So that's pretty useful.
Yep.
And then we've added some variables, not too many, but variables. Like current machine definition, some of customers wanted to have different post processors based on different machines that they were using, and so now using in combination with our RhinoCAM API, with the use of this definition, you can select the post processor programmatically rather than having to manually pick those post processors. And also we've added a cycle Z for drill operations. This was missing in some, and some users wanted that in some certain cycles, some drill cycles, so we've added that. And then another important change is the ability to output variables inside square brackets, because in our system, all our variables are defined by square brackets. But if your machine, some weird machines do this, they want output in square brackets. They actually want square brackets to be output, and we were not able to do that before. Now we are able to handle any number of nestings of these square brackets in combination with our variables. So things of that example that's shown on the screen, we're able to handle now. So And then as far as programmable post enhancements, we have added these write to file and mop info. Though even though they look small, they're actually quite big enhancements. The mop info is probably the bigger one of the two. Write to file is you can actually be writing an external file while you're actually posting. This can come in handy when you're doing debugging. There's quite a lot of different uses for it. So you might not be readily apparent if you're just using simple posts, but if you are doing some sophisticated posting, this can come in handy. And then as far as the mop info that we have added, that's a new data structure that we've added to programmable posts, and using that, we can get at all the information parameters associated with the actual operation that you're posting. So in this particular instance, we are getting the intolerance of the operation. So notice the power of this. Based on the parameter settings, you can actually do some conditional processing in the post-processing. So just quite powerful and can really drive some sophisticated post-processing using our system. So
yeah.